Good morning, everyone. Thanks for your time. Look, we're here today to tackle what is, without a doubt, one of the most critical decisions we'll make this decade, and that's our enterprise AI infrastructure strategy. Let's get right into it. So, first things first, let's frame this conversation the right way. Is this just a technical choice for the IT department? Absolutely not. This is a core business strategy decision. What we decide is going to directly hit our bottom line, our security and compliance posture, and, maybe most importantly, our speed to market. It's about our competitive edge, plain and simple. So here's how we're going to break this down. We'll start at the strategic crossroads we're facing. We'll look at path one, which is the proprietary API or buy approach. Then we'll look at path two, self-hosting, the build approach. We'll dig into the economic trade-offs. This is huge. Then we'll lay out what we believe is the most pragmatic path forward, a hybrid strategy. And we'll finish up with a decision framework you can start using right away. All right, let's jump into path one, using proprietary APIs. You can think of this as the buy approach. We're talking about leveraging those cutting-edge managed services from the big players you know, OpenAI, Google, Anthropic. So what does this actually mean? Well, think of it like AI as a service. We just pay for what they use, literally per token, and the vendor handles all the heavy lifting. There are no servers for us to manage, no complicated software to maintain. Honestly, it is the absolute simplest way to get up and running. And the advantages here, from a business perspective, they're huge, and they all boil down to two things: speed and simplicity. We're talking about going from a concept to a live, production-ready app in a matter of days, not months. This means we can prototype like crazy and get immediate access to billions of dollars in R&D from the top AI labs on the planet. It's a massive shortcut. Okay, but that speed comes with some pretty serious trade-offs. The most critical one for a business like ours, it's the risk around data sovereignty. Every single query we send, all that data, passes through the vendor's infrastructure. For a regulated industry, that's a huge red flag. And then there's the cost. It scales linearly. If our usage doubles, our bill doubles. There are just no economies of scale to be found.
All right, so that's buying. Now let's look at the complete alternative. Path two is what we call the build approach. This is where we take full control, hosting powerful open source models on our very own infrastructure, whether that's on-prem or in our private cloud.
So the idea here is pretty straightforward. We download publicly available but very powerful models, think Meta's Llama series, and we run them entirely inside our own secure environment. This completely flips the script. We're no longer renting a service. We are owning and controlling a core asset.
And here's the crucial part. The advantages of building are a mirror image of the weaknesses of buying. We get complete data sovereignty. Sensitive customer data never leaves our four walls. For compliance, that's non-negotiable. The economics, they become predictable. And we get the power to customize these models deeply, to build something truly unique, a real competitive moat. But, of course, that level of control doesn't come for free. In fact, it comes at a steep price. We're talking a significant upfront capital expense on GPU hardware. We're talking about having to hire a team of very specialized and very expensive machine learning and DevOps engineers. And that time to market, it stretches from a few weeks to, realistically, 4 to 6 months. So this slide really just boils it all down. It crystallizes the decision we're facing. It's a classic trade-off, isn't it? Buy gives us incredible speed, but we sacrifice control and cost predictability. Build gives us that total control, but it demands a major investment in time, money, and talent. Okay, this brings us to the financial heart of the matter. Let's talk about the economic reality of operating these systems at the scale we're planning. The whole financial model really hinges on this one tension: OpEx versus CapEx, right? With the APIs, it's a variable operational expense. It just grows with every single user interaction. But with a self-hosted model, we have that large, fixed, upfront capital expense for the hardware, which is then followed by a much more stable, predictable operational cost. And this chart, wow, this chart really tells the story. Take a look at the 3-year total cost of ownership, assuming a pretty high-volume workload, say 10 million interactions a month. Using a top-of-the-line API like GPT-4o, that's going to run us over $2.5 million. Now, building our own on-prem solution with something like Llama 3.3, that brings the cost way down to $660,000. But look at that third bar. This is the game changer. These new, super efficient APIs, like Google's Gemini flashlight, are dramatically cheaper. We're talking just $61,000. It's a whole new world. So, what's the big takeaway here? The break-even point has moved. A lot.
Because of these new hyper-efficient APIs, going for a full on-prem build only really becomes the clear cost winner when our volume gets truly massive. We're talking over 50 million queries per month. That number, 50 million, is a critical threshold for all our strategic planning going forward.
Okay, so given this complex landscape, we don't think an either-or approach makes sense. The optimal path forward, and this is our formal recommendation, is to adopt a pragmatic, smart, hybrid strategy. Now, a hybrid architecture isn't a compromise, it's an optimization. It means we stop trying to force one solution onto every single problem. Instead, we get smart. We strategically match the right tool to the right task, based on the specific needs of that task, whether that's data security, performance, or cost. So let me give you a practical example. Let's call it tiering by complexity. Imagine our customer service bot. First, a really cheap, lightweight model instantly classifies the user's query. Simple questions, which are, maybe 60% of our traffic, go to another inexpensive model. Only the really tough, complex queries, maybe the top 10%, get routed to that premium, expensive model. The results? We're looking at a staggering 88% cost savings, with basically no noticeable drop in quality for the user. And here's the second pattern, which, honestly, is probably the more important one for us. We call it segregating by data sensitivity. It's simple. Any query that contains sensitive data, PII, PHI, you name it, gets processed exclusively on a secure, on-premise model that we control, period. Everything else, the general, non-sensitive queries, can go to a cost-effective cloud API. This is how we solve the compliance and risk problem while still getting the economic benefits of the cloud. It's the best of both worlds. Now, it's also absolutely vital that we understand this isn't a one-and-done decision. The landscape is changing at a dizzying pace. There are new players and new technologies that are changing the entire economic equation, practically as we speak. There are two key disruptors you really need to have on your radar for 2025. First is Grok Cloud. They're offering open source models at just unbelievable speeds, perfect for real-time applications. And second is Google's Gemini Flashlight, which we saw on the chart. It's offering proprietary level quality, but at almost commodity pricing. What does this mean for us? It means these hybrid and managed approaches are way more attractive and financially smart than they were even 12 months ago. Okay, so to bring this all home, we've put together a very simple decision framework. Think of it as a guide for our internal discussions, something to help us choose the right path for every single new AI initiative we spin up. For every project, we just need to ask ourselves these 5 key strategic questions. 1. Is our data so highly sensitive that it must, without question, stay on-prem? 2. Is our volume predictably going to be over that 50 million queries a month threshold? 3. Is our time to market goal less than 4 weeks? We have to be honest about that. 4. Do we already have the ML engineering team in place to support this? And 5, is that absolute frontier GPT-5 level quality a non-negotiable, or is very good actually good enough for the use case? The answers to these questions are going to point us directly to the right blend of buy and build every time. So I'll just leave you with this final thought. The decision we make here, it's not just about managing costs for the next fiscal year. It's not just about mitigating risk. The architectural path we choose today is going to define our ability to innovate, to adapt, and ultimately to compete. By 2026, which path will we be on? Which path will have become our greatest strategic asset? Thank you.